Thank you, Ashley, for introducing me and sharing your story. I, like an awful lot of people in this audience, was the first in my family to go to college and watch my dad struggle to help me get there and get all the kids there, and it wasn't easy. But, you know, I asked the rhetorical question, how can we be the leading country in the world without the best education system in the world and access to it? You and Sam are from rural Wisconsin, first in your families to go to college. Life partners, business partners, hardworking, paying off your loans, only to see your dreams being crushed by student debt. But now, thanks to what we're doing, that student debt is no longer holding you back. With this new freedom, you started your own business. It helps women and minority-owned businesses right here in Wisconsin. That's what this is all about. I think we all in this room share one goal: give everybody a fair shot, just a shot. Freedom to chase their dreams. You know, you've got some of the great leaders in Wisconsin here as well, and I mean that sincerely. I think Tony knows this. Your governor, I think he's one of the best governors in the United States. And not just that, you really are, Tony. And what progress we've made, and we made a lot, is no small part because of Tony. And the bad news for Tony is we become friends. And Mark, thank you, Representative. Thanks for the passport to get into the district. I appreciate it. You're doing a hell of a job. And Madison, Mayor, thank you. Where is she? There you go. Stand up. I get instructions from my wife, who's a school teacher. She said, make sure you say hello to the mayor. I really like being with her. Thank you, Mayor, for taking care of her. And the state and local tribal leaders here today, thanks for making it available. Where are you? There you go. Stand up, Chief. Thank you. And by the way, it's Indian Nations. And while she couldn't be here, I'm always grateful for one of the best senators in the United States Senate, Tammy Baldwin. She really is. She's a great partner in education, infrastructure, Buy America, and so much more. She's done so much. And when Kamala and I ran this lead county, we made a commitment to fix our broken student loan system. Because while college degree still is a ticket to the middle class, that ticket's becoming much too expensive, much too expensive. In fact, things are a lot different from when college tuition was more affordable and borrowing for college was repaying those loans was more reasonable. Today, too many Americans, especially young people, are saddled with unsustainable debts in exchange for a college degree. The ability for working and middle-class folks to repay their student loans has become so burdensome that a lot can't repay it for even decades after being in school. And I mean that sincerely. Many of you know that sitting in front of me. Even when they have worked hard and pay their student loans, their debt increases, not diminishes. Too many people feel the strain and stress, wondering if they're can get married, have their first child, start a family, because even if they get by, they still have this crushing debt. That's not it's not just a drag on them, it's a drag on our local economies. It's a drag on, no, it really is. It's a drag on the economies. When you can't afford to buy a home, start that small business, chase that career that you've been dreaming about for a long time. That's why early in my term I announced a major plan to provide more than 40 million working and middle-class Americans student debt relief. Tens of millions. Tens of millions of people's debt was literally about to get canceled. But then some of my Republican friends and elected officials and special interests sued us, and the Supreme Court blocked us. But that didn't stop us. No, I mean it sincerely. We continue to find alternative paths to reduce student debt payments that are not challengeable. And altogether, my administration has taken the most significant action to provide student debt relief ever in the history of this country. We started by fixing two existing programs to get more people student debt relief than they were entitled to. First, we fixed what was called the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. which was designed to make sure those in public service, school teachers, police officers, firefighters, social workers, faith leaders, public servants, you get the student loan forgiven in 10 years if they've made their payments for those first 10 years. And after 10 years in public service, they would have their loan forgiven. When I took office, 7,000 public service had their 7,000 had their debts forgiven. The program wasn't working very well. So I called in the Department of Education and other departments and we got to fix this and fix it now. Thanks to our reforms, nearly 900,000 have had their debts forgiven, including 16,400 right here in Wisconsin. Right here in Wisconsin. Second, we turned what's called an income-driven repayment program, which I've renamed the SAVE program, the most affordable repayment plan ever. Before I took office, student borrowers had to pay 10% of their discretionary income on a monthly basis from what they borrowed, 10% discretionary income. That's income after you pay necessities like housing and food. A lot of people didn't have the means to pay 10%. So I was able to, in my authority, have the department cut that to 5% for undergraduate loans. Now that means no one with undergraduate loans, whether a community college or four-year college, have to pay more than 5% of their discretionary income to repay those loans starting in July of this year. And for millions of borrowers who make less than $32,000 a year now after they're out, their monthly student payments will be dropped to zero as long as they're that. Really. And already, close to 8 million Americans have enrolled in the SAVE plan, including 135,000 here in Wisconsin. Because of our reforms, 25,000 people a month nationwide have been receiving letters from me about their debt they had for 4 years, for all those years, is finally going to be forgiven. But I'm not stopping here. Today, I'm proud to announce 5 major actions to continue to relieve student debt for more than 30 million Americans since I started my administration. First, my administration will propose a new rule to cancel up to $20,000 in runaway interest for any borrower that owes more now than when they started paying the loan. It's a big difference. And for low and middle class families enrolled in my SAVE program, we'll cancel all of your interest, Second, we plan to cancel student debt for borrowers who still owe student loans even though they started repaying them more than 2 decades ago. Folks, third, we plan to cancel debt for about 2 million borrowers who would be eligible for debt forgiveness through the SAVE program, public service loan forgiveness, or other debt canceling programs, but are not enrolled in these programs. Some of you are only finding out after the fact, as you're a teacher, a firefighter, a cop, that you qualify, but you just didn't know about it before. And now but you're eligible no matter how long you've been out of the program. Fourth, we plan to cancel debt for borrowers who the Department of Education determines were cheated by universities that left students on unaffordable loans and delivered little in benefits to students. And you know one of those colleges was closed. I won't mention it. And finally, the Department of Education will propose a new rule to cancel student debt for Americans facing financial hardships, from child care to health care, to prevent them from paying back their loans. And over the coming months, the Department of Education will propose and then implement these plans. And starting this fall, we plan to deliver up to $20,000 in interest relief to over 20 million borrowers and full forgiveness for millions more.